And now a message from our friends at Fetching Food.
The 1970s and 80s had Elbow, Gravy Train, Purina, Meow Mix, and Bell Bottoms. You've changed your clothes, now change how you feed your pet. Like Bell Bottoms, kick the kibble and join us in the 21st century with the healthiest diet for dogs and cats. Feed naturally, feed raw, feed Fetching Foods.
I'm from Missouri. That's all I know.
Hello, pups and kittens, and welcome to another fun-filled and informative episode of the Groomer Next Door podcast. I'm your host, Chris Green, and joining us this week is the founder of MEOWINGTONS, an amazing cat online store. We are joined by Emma Basari, and I'm going to say this, if it wasn't for Brandon Zavala of Apollo Peak, who contacted me and said, you've got to interview my friend Emma, I don't know if I would have actually been able to get in touch with her. She's amazing, she's so much fun, and she's very similar to Brendan Zavala, which is, a very big plus in my books. I love talking to Brandon, and now I love talking to Emma because she's just so much fun. Well, because it's a cat-based type episode, let's have a fact of the week for cats. Cats make more than 100 different sounds, whereas dogs, they only make around 10. That's interesting. And a cat's brain is 90% similar to a human's, more similar than to a dog's. So, let's see. Cats make more noise, and so they're more vocal. I still like my dogs, but no wonder I actually have more conversations with cats. I might be part cat. There is a very good possibility to that. I do like to sleep. I don't get to do it, but I envy people who do. And I definitely envy the cats who get to sleep while I walk out the door every day. So, there's got to be something connecting all of these dots together. Well, by that sound, Emma is about to enter the podcast studio. So with that said, welcome Emma Basari to the podcast.
Oh, hello. Hold on a sec. Dad, we have a guest on the podcast.
This week on the podcast, we are following along in one of my favorite topics, which is, of course, cats. I love me the dogs, but I love the cats. And we are joined by Emma Basiri, and she is the creator of MEOWINGTONS. Thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Always a pleasure. I mean, I have to thank Brandon Zavala from Apollo Peak. He was the one who started all this. Actually, it's Apollo Pet Beverage now. I never can get away from that. But he's the one who's like, you got to talk to Emma. She's awesome. So I got to give him that one. So tell us your origin story, because I love learning a little bit about the person itself.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm originally Canadian, from a town called Toronto. And I kind of just got into things right out of school. So I graduated university called OCAD, and I studied advertising and design. So right from school, I kind of just dived into the corporate world. I was in that field for around 6 months, and I'm like, screw that, that's not for me. And I quit my job, started working for a small startup e-commerce store. And from there, I kind of just learned all the ins and outs of the business, and, quickly came to discover that I am an entrepreneur, and this is what I want to do with the rest of my life. So I kind of just combined that with my love for animals and my love for cats, and I realized that there's no cat store online. Well, at the time, this was in 2014, there were no online cat stores that had just cat products. So I'm like, hey, why not? And here we are 4 years later.
You know what's funny about 2014 is that there didn't seem to be a lot of pet anything out there. It was almost obsolete. Because we started in 2014 and there was nothing.
Oh, no way. I didn't know that. Yeah. There was literally nothing online. I did all my research. We were the only ones out there selling cat-themed merchandise. And, here we are 4 years later, and the pet industry is absolutely booming, and there's so many different stores out there for dogs, for cats. It's absolutely insane.
I think it's kind of weird because I've had this conversation with so many other people. I mean, you think 2014, it doesn't feel like it's been 4 years, but
Yeah.
how is it that all of a sudden now, within like, I would say the last 2 years, that's when these unique pet items or stores or any kind of pet awareness came around? I mean, it seems weird to me that it took that long.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I think it is? It's I think it's a combination of a few things, but the internet is just changing everything, and like we are just at the start of a revolution, I think, and like it's literally like, the internet and the cats work really well together. And I don't know if you know this, but like 90% of the internet is cats, basically. So I think it's just that, and just all this content being produced year after year, and it's just growing.
Yeah.
And I think we're at the very start of it.
Yeah, I'll go with that because cats were overlooked, especially overlooked, even up until the last couple of years as well. And I even find that now people still look at cats and go, eh. And I always think that's weird.
Yeah.
They're so cool. So now, Meowington, how did you come up with the name, and how did the idea start up to the idea of, okay, we're going to do this? How was its origin story?
So I kind of just, like I've always been a big fan of cats. And it was just a lot of brainstorming, I'd say. I remember when I had first quit my job and I'm like, okay, I want to do this full time. I sat in my apartment in Toronto and I had like sticky notes all over my wall in my apartment, just brainstorming different names. And I kind of just like went with it. Like I went with like meow and cat, and I was just like adding prefixes and suffixes, and I kind of just like, the store Burlington's. I'm like, I want to create like the one-stop shop for cat lovers, and I kind of just, came across MEOWINGTONS, and that's how it kind of came about.
I love it.
Thank you.
Now, here's the unique part. Now, I pay attention to everything that's going on when it comes to pet industry, and I noticed that you had a Kickstarter that came out, and
yeah,
it was shocking. So I remember watching the video, and this is literally hours before, not even hours. I think it was just like maybe an hour or so after you released on Kickstarter, and it was for the Mouse Hunt cat toy, which I thought was really cool. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I so want to talk to you about this. And of course, I knew we would sit down at some point and have this conversation. So take us through that whole process of how you designed it. Tell us all about the Mouse Hunt cat toy and so on and so on.
Yeah, it's actually kind of like a bittersweet story, but I basically just started out with, wanting to create a very unique product that would stimulate our cats and just kind of have them be able to hunt like it's an actual prey, and get them to like a toy that would basically have them using their natural hunting instincts. But I started working very closely with somebody who helped me design and come up with the prototype, and it was a very, very long process. I'd say we worked on this for like I think around 8 months. And, we worked on the Kickstarter video, like endlessly, night after night. It was just so much hard work. And it wasn't just me, it was my entire team. We put everything into this project, and we were all very excited about it. So we launched, I think in February, and we just knocked it out of the park. We did so great. I think we reached our goal within the first 4 hours. But I think it was like 3 or 4 days after we launched, we got an email out of the blue from Kickstarter saying that our project's been suspended, and we're like, what is going on over here? So we kind of looked into it. We messaged Kickstarter. We got no warning, by the way, like none whatsoever. And we messaged Kickstarter. We're like, what's going on? And then they responded with, this product has been, or is a copy and it's not original. So we kind of looked into it, and we found that our product was on Alibaba, and it was on Amazon, and this was our product. We designed it. And like that there was no reason for it to be there. So I contacted my guy and I'm like, what's going on over here? He's like, I'm so sorry. This product's been leaked into the Asian market. So what we ended up doing was sending a whole bunch of proof to Kickstarter. We like sent them all our design prototypes, everything. They got back to us like 2 weeks later saying, your evidence has been compelling. We invite you to relaunch your project on Kickstarter. And I'm like, what? So you're not going to just resume our campaign? We're like, no, we can't do that. We're going to keep that one suspended, but you guys are welcome to start another project. So we're like, you know what? Like, no, we've put all this hard work into it. We're going to launch it again. And what if it gets suspended again? So, I mean, I kind of learned my lesson from that. I'm not going to rely on another platform like that. I'm like, I have my own website. Why not just, put it up for pre-sale on my website? Anybody that supports us already, can go and pre-order the products from our website, MEOWINGTONS.com. And that's kind of what it is. I learned a lot from it. So that's why I said it was bittersweet. Like, it was absolutely devastating when the project was suspended. But I mean, like, I came to learn so much from that experience.
So what happens to all the people who actually put money in? Did it just kind of a push for like nothing? They don't have to spend their money, or how'd that work?
Yeah, so everybody just got refunded without notice. They just told everybody that we had broken the rules or something like that.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, everybody just got refunded, and it made us look really bad. But it is what it is.
Yeah, because it was like almost $20,000. It was 18,000 something. But I'm like, almost 20,000. I mean, it was a good number. I mean, that would have,
yeah, for sure.
Especially considering your first launch was 10,000 is what you needed. You almost doubled that, and they completely railroaded you.
I know, and we're not the first ones for this to be happening to. It's happened to so many different companies, and some of them, how you can set a duration for your campaign. Mm-hmm. Some people were suspended 3 days or the day before the end of their campaign, where they've already reached their goal. They've made so much. They've already planned their production. They've made payments for getting the item produced and all that, and then the day before they would suspend their project. And it's not fair to any of these people. Like, I think at the least Kickstarter could, reach out and have a conversation, or give them the chance to explain, and not just do it out of the blue. So, I mean, right now we're doing pretty okay. Like, after putting it up for pre-sale on our website, we were able to pre-sell double the amount that we did on Kickstarter. So I'm really grateful and happy with the way things turned out in the end. But it was just a very big lesson learned in it. And, I think overall a bittersweet experience. Man,
I'm sorry. That is terrible.
Yeah.
Now it's RC remote with an app on your phone, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yes.
Which is really cool. I mean, I grew up loving RC cars and boats and things like that, but you always had that stupid, ugly looking remote in your hand. It's so cool that you can incorporate the phone and put it into an app. I mean, that's unique in itself.
Yeah, for sure. And it's awesome because, like, first of all, the mouse is rechargeable, and battery lasts, I think, for up to 20 to 25 minutes. It can go super fast. You can do 360 spins with it. Like, it's not only fun for your cat, but it's a hell of a lot fun for you too. So it's kind of like a way to encourage you to play with your cat more often, because, I don't know, as you know, cats require a lot of stimulation, and they say that you should play with your cat for at least 30 minutes a day for them to stay happy and healthy. And this was kind of just the motivation to create a product like this. But surprisingly enough, there's been a lot of people who have pre-purchased the mouse, saying that they want it for their toddler, which I found hilarious.
I honestly, I look at it and go, it's something that not only is your cat going to get a lot of use out of, but you do. I mean, think about the laser pointer, how that was so revolutionary. And probably of our generation, the laser pointer. And it's like, that was the cat's greatest toy before.
Yeah.
And then, of course, before the laser pointer was maybe a ball of string. So, think of the evolution for that.
Yeah, for sure. I wonder what's going to be next.
I think we already know the mouse hunt cat toy is what's next. I mean, let's go with that.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Let's do that.
So what is the best-selling cat product? Now, again, cat product, because you got a lot of cat products and then you have a lot of human side, but what is the best cat product that you have out there right now?
That's a hard one. We have a lot of stuff that for cats that sell really well. Right now at this moment, the thing that people are absolutely going crazy over, which it's insane, and it's a really cool product, but people are going bananas for this thing. So it's called the Tart Cat Bed, and it's basically a tart, and it has little fruit pillows inside of it. And when your cat sleeps in this bed, it is just the most adorable thing you've ever seen in your life. But yeah, that's what's trending right now on our website.
I can see that. Yeah, I mean, I've seen different things for like kids' beds and different things that kind of have that, almost like pie look. And it's cute. It's quaint. But yeah, putting a cat in there would be really cute. I can see that.
It's hilarious, and it's trending really hard on the internet right now.
So what about for humans? Because that's what I love about what you've done. And we actually have had conversations before even recording. And one thing I love is the fact that you're not saying, hey, look, it's just for cats. No, a lot of pet parents want to actually have cat products too. So what is trending for the human side?
Yeah, for sure. I'd say one of our best sellers on our website for humans in terms of cat themed products are our jewelry items. We do have a wide range of different styles of cat themed jewelry, like, the spiral cat ring or the Sphinx cat ring. We have the paws and ears cat ring. We've got a lot of rings and then a lot of necklaces and bracelets. And for some reason, those ones really tend to do well just because they're dainty. They're not like too much or like too much cat in your face type thing. So, those ones are doing really, really well on our website.
I've noticed that. I've gone to different stores, and they'll have kind of a cat product and little areas. And I've noticed the jewelry sections, which that's something I have not known. I guess maybe because I have a daughter, so of course I'm going to see it more. But I'm thinking it's interesting that now cat or pet jewelry has become such a thing. I think that's great, though.
Yeah, and just to mention another jewelry item that we're coming out with really soon, and which we're really excited about, is a cat memorial necklace, where we'll actually send you a mold where you can take a imprint of your cat's nose, send it back to us, and we'll send you a cat necklace or personalized cat necklace of a print of your cat's nose, and it's really cute.
That is really cool. It's unfortunately we get to keep our cats a lot longer than we get to keep our dogs. Unfortunately, I like to just have never-ending, forever pets, but we still have a long time to that happen. So that's kind of cool to be able to have something that's so unique, and it literally is 100% unique because you're never going to find another cat nose that's on your own cat right now.
Yeah, for sure. And you get to keep it forever, which is awesome.
Right. Which again, we can't keep our cats forever. When are you going to come up with a product for that? We need that. Makes me think of Boss Baby. That's where I was thinking about, is the Forever Dog. That's what was in my brain just now.
Oh.
Again, I have a daughter. She watches animated movies, and I reluctantly. Actually, I don't reluctantly. I love watching animated anything, so it's an excuse. I'm a child.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, I think we all are.
Well, that's the funny part with people that are in this type of enjoyable kind of industry. I think we're all a little bit of the child at heart that never could really grow up. That's why we love animals.
Yeah, I think that I'm a very big believer that every single person has an inner child, whether you're, 20 years old, 40 years old, or 80 years old. I think everyone has an inner child, and I think it's really important for everybody to, play with their inner child here and there, and, to kind of not ignore their inner child. I think it's really important to be able to just, be happy.
I think my inner child's my outer child. I think my inner adult is what because I don't really do the adulting too much. I do more of the child. So I think there's an inner adult. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
It works for me. Well, now, you know what I love about, when we were talking about this before we started recording, I love the fact that you actually have your fosters as your, in quotations, your staff. And that's one thing that I can completely understand, because I do the same thing with this podcast. And
yeah.
I wanted to know all about each one of them. And so your staff starts with Milton, and that's your office manager, and he's your artwork, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he's what we based our logo off of.
Tell us all about Milton.
So Milton is actually a cat that belongs to a friend of mine. This was in the early stages when we were first coming up with our logo. But kind of the cats that we have on our About page are all the cats of all the staff of MEOWINGTONS. So Mushi is my cat. Daisy is our graphic designer's cat, and Daisy's role is graphic designer on her website too. Just Gatsby is our copywriter's cat, and so on. Executive director, Pizza Roll. So these are all the cats of everyone that works at MEOWINGTONS. We currently have a foster named Thomas. We've had him for around 2 weeks in our office now, and he was given up because apparently his previous owners didn't have enough time for him after 5 years of having him. So, we brought him over to our office, and we're giving him all the time and love that he deserves until he can find his forever home. And I just wanted to point out, if anybody's listening in the Fort Lauderdale, Florida area, and you are looking for a ginger son, we have Thomas here in our office, and you are more than welcome to come swing by our office and see if he's the right fit for you.
So he's an intern, is what you're saying?
Yeah, currently.
An unpaid intern. Actually, no, he would be paid. He would be paid in cat treats and love.
For sure. And he's very, very, very hardworking. Like he sits on our keyboards, and he obstructs the view of our monitor, and, he does a lot around the office.
I think that just gives an excuse not to work, and that's personally my favorite thing to do is not to work. Of course, then again, I play with dogs and cats all day long, so really, what can I say? So
that's awesome.
So, in kind of going back in our conversation, you were talking about being an entrepreneur, and it kind of brought into the question, because we've talked about Brandon Zabala, but any thought process or any consideration to go on Shark Tank?
It's actually funny. So my inbox is a nightmare. So, I know, there's two types of people who have 0 unread messages, and then there's people who have 5,213 unread messages, as I'm looking at my inbox right now. So, I mean, a lot of my emails, unfortunately, do get lost in my inbox. I'm not proud of this, and it's something that I'm working on. But last year, I was, just going through my inbox, and I came across an email from Shark Tank, the producers of Shark Tank, wanting to have me on their show. And they're like, hey, we have Ashton Kutcher as a guest shark, and we think your company would be the perfect fit. We'd love to have you on the show. And I saw this, I think it was a year or two later in my inbox. But yeah, I mean, I don't think I would have went on the show, because I already do have an investor who's been super supportive and has helped me a lot along the way. But it was it was just interesting to see that in my inbox.
I can see that. I mean, with all that I heard from Brandon, and he's been on multiple times, and we talk off, with off record, and I don't know if I would ever want to put my company out there. It's a little bit of a hard one.
Yeah, I agree with that, because I think what you're doing is essentially giving up a lot of trade secrets. And I don't know, there are positive sides to it, and there are, like, obviously the negatives. But I don't know if I would want to be on a show like that.
Right. It's the equity that really kills me. You're giving up a lot of what you worked for to somebody who's giving you a just small amount of money compared.
And time, too.
Yeah.
And a small amount of time. Because how many companies are they investing in? So.
Yeah, it's a rough one. That's a rough one. And you know, it was funny because, you know, backstory is when we first talked to Brandon, I don't know if he told you the story, he was just about to move out of his original place that he was actually with. And I asked him the question, and he's like, no, I have no intentions. But what he couldn't tell, and it was because of the non-disclosure, is that he was planning on being on Shark Tank. I think he was about to go on maybe a month or so after. So it was comical when I found out. I of course sent him a message saying, hey, what's going on? And he goes, I couldn't tell you, but I wanted to. So I always hold on to that, and I always think that's funny. It's like, you lied to me, but...
That's so funny. Brandon always has something in the works. Always.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've been sworn to secrecy. I can't say anything. But, yeah. Yeah, I gotta sit down with him, and he's gotta tell us all about what's coming up, because he is definitely... he always, you know, he's such a unique entrepreneur as well. And, you know, I look at what you both are very similar when it comes to creating good content that's available to people. Your products are there, the content is there, everything's right there, and you guys are both revolutionary in this industry, and I love it. And again, you know, I think we spoke sometime in last year, I think it was when we first talked. And that's when I started watching what you were doing, and I was like, wow, she's really doing a lot and doing a lot of great things. So, I don't know. You guys are on top of it all, and I enjoy it. I enjoy watching you guys.
Well, thank you. Brandon is actually doing a lot of great things. I think every day, like, he's brainstorming new ideas, and like, he's always coming up with something new in the pet beverage industry, like the Pinot Meow and the Moscato, and he just kills it every time with these puns. But it's a funny story. I actually wanted to, this was I think in 2015, I wanted to carry his product on my website. So this is actually the story of how we met. And you know, I Googled it, found out he's a founder, and then I stalked him on LinkedIn, and I messaged him. Yeah, I found him on LinkedIn, and I'm like, hey, can we set up a call? So we hopped on a call, and I'm like, I need your product in my store. It's trending on the internet. Cat people are going crazy for it. I need it in my life right now. So, and that's kind of how we just started collaborating. We're actually working on a lot of fun things coming out. I'd say like in December, a lot of projects we're working on together. We unfortunately can't talk about it because Brandon doesn't want to talk about it, but you know, it is coming in sometime in November or December. And yeah, so stay tuned is all I can say.
I was going to ask you the connection, and you know what? Now that you said it, that you guys, I think it's the same thing that him and I were talking about last week. So I'm just going to completely drop it, because I'll talk. I'll actually ask you once we stop recording if it's what I think it is, and if it is what I think it is, this is going to be interesting, because him and I were talking. I was actually, and this is kind of a behind the scenes. I was actually doing my grocery shopping, and we were going back and forth. And at the time, if I'm not mistaken, he was just arriving to Los Angeles. And we were talking about it, and we were brainstorming back and forth. I was asking him, well, what about XYZ, and what about da-da-da-da? And he's like, well, I don't know yet. I haven't really decided this. And so it'll be interesting to kind of bounce a couple things off of you, which I'm sorry to all the people who are listening, because you'll just have to stay tuned. But yeah, I mean, it is cool. I mean, it's cool. It's funny. It's completely unique, and I that's what I love about it. That's why I'm not surprised that you're involved in this. Not surprised at all, actually. I kind of surprised me. I didn't even mention it to him. I guess I should have said, "Hey, so is Emma working with you on this?" Because it had your flavor to it as well. That's, I guess, why.
Yeah, I mean, he's working on a lot of different projects right now, and as so am I. But we have one or two projects that we're working on together, which we're really, really excited about. And it's the big reveal is going to be around the holiday season.
That's gonna be awesome. Well, it's funny because on a side note, the little pop top for the phone, I saw him talk about it, which honestly, I guess I'll ask you this. It seemed like something that you were kind of influenced on. It's the one that has his Apollo on it, and it's the pop. Did you have any influence on that?
All right.
You
so
did.
I saw that, and I just thought the character looked very familiar. Is all I'm gonna say.
Well,
I didn't intentionally have any influence on it, but I think I subconsciously had some influence on it.
Brandon, I had a feeling it did have a lot of a Meowington look to it, which is funny because I initially bought it for my daughter. Yeah, and I didn't actually know it was as interesting as it was. And my daughter actually loved it, but then she says, I probably shouldn't take this to school with me, so it's actually on my phone. But, I'm very happy to have it.
Oh, that's hilarious.
She loved it. She loved the fact that, it was the way it was, and of course she's like, I just don't think it's right to have a cat flipping the bird and drinking a glass of wine. So,
how old is your daughter?
9.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so she's kind of like, maybe it's just not the thing that I should have at school when I go on field trips and stuff. Because we're like, hey, you know what? When you go on a field trip, bring your phone. Let us know when you arrive. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which is weird to think that, when I was a kid, it was have a pager, little beeper, and that was the extent of our communication our parents had with us. But
right.
but now it's a cell phone. I'm thinking, boy, it would have been great if we would have had things like that.
Yeah.
Now,
that's so funny.
I did notice you have an app as well. I meant to actually, bring that up as well. You guys developed an app for your actual store itself, correct?
Yeah. It's available for both iPhone and Android. It's in the Apple Store called MEOWINGTONS.
Was it difficult to get that whole thing put together?
No, actually, we used a third-party company who took care of most of the development side of things. So it was pretty straightforward, and it's great because it makes things so much easier for our repeat customers who, shop with us all the time. They can just hop on the app, and buy straight through there. And we do give a lot of, unique, if you have your push notifications turned on, we do give a lot of exclusive subscriber discounts and whatnot through the app for those customers.
Definitely cool, and definitely worth having. I mean, again, if there's something, and again, there's very few people out there. I'm like, oh my gosh, you got to watch what they're doing. You got to, check out their stuff all the time. And you're one of them that I love. I love watching your stuff, and I love watching what you're doing. And like I said, I've been a huge fan of Brandon since the beginning with him. And the moment that he, introduced us, I was like, oh wow, a female Brandon, how cool. And it's really the mind. A female Brandon.
So funny.
well, okay. I don't see you snowboarding like I see Brandon, but
I do yoga, so that's kind of what I do. But yeah, I think me and Brandon are pretty similar in that sense. I think we're constantly switched on, and we're always motivated, and we're always coming up with the craziest ideas, and it's just a lot of fun speaking with him and bouncing ideas back and forth. And I think just for any entrepreneur in general, having other entrepreneurs in your life where you can, relate to and talk to, because, it's something that you can't talk to anyone about. Like, I find that, like, I can't talk to my parents or my friends about kind of like business related issues that I'm having. So having other entrepreneurs in your life is for sure very beneficial and just great to have.
That's interesting. See, again, I would think as a parent, I'm always so connected to what my daughter's doing. I would think that your parents would be the one person that would be the almost kind of the jump off period person and the starting point of any kind of idea.
For sure. I mean, when it comes to like the emotional side of things, I'll go to my parents. But when it comes to more technical things or, just things related to the industry, and what's up and coming and, trends and that sort of stuff, it's always great to have other people who are, actively in the industry and also doing the same thing as you.
Good point. That's a good point. What is trending right now? I mean, I see so many different things, and you know what? From somebody who actually has their finger on the pulse, what would you say is the biggest thing that's trending right now?
I'd say, well, Pop Sockets are absolutely everywhere right now. So Pop Sockets for sure. And another thing is actually plush toys, animal plush toys. So that's like supposed to be one of the bigger trends for 2018, where it's a plush, but it's also a pillow. And we're actually coming out with a Milton plush toy in the next few months, which is going to be really exciting.
So by the time this podcast released, it should be available.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be the good thing. Yeah, it's kind of funny the whole idea where they almost kind of a reversible or a pillow that kind of reverses from the pet to one pet to another. I always thought that was kind of strange too. I can't even think of the name of what it is. But yeah, my daughter, she thinks that those are the greatest thing as well.
Yeah, I'm actually a big sucker for plush toys too.
It's almost like in a sense, like the Beanie Baby phenomenon is going to come back, but it'll be those reversible plushes. And yet, it's not just a kid thing; it's an adult thing as well. I don't think. Did our generation ever really grow up, or is this just kind of how it worked out?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't either. So, what besides plush, besides different things with Brandon, is there anything else that you can kind of hint that's coming up in the future?
Yeah. So we are actually. This is something that we've been working on. There's actually a few things, but I'll just go down the list. But one of the things we are going to be releasing in the next month is the MEOWINGTONS podcast. And I would love to have you as a guest on our podcast. But we've recorded a few episodes. We're super excited about it, and we're going to be releasing that in the next month. Another thing is we're always actively looking to give back to the cat community. So we've been working very closely with the our local shelters, with donations, fostering cats. But another thing that we are doing is, we're hosting events. So the one that we're doing, which is going to be on, June 16th, is Cats on Mats. And being a big yoga lover myself, and I know there's a lot of cat people who are also yoga lovers, we're going to be having a yoga class, a 1-hour yoga class at the Humane Society of Broward County. And the room is just going to be packed with kittens, and we're going to be doing yoga with cats, and it's going to be amazing. And 100% of proceeds from this event are going to be going to the Humane Society and the Good Luck Cat Cafe in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. $20 a ticket, and the tickets can be purchased on our website. But yeah, we're super excited about it. And if anybody's in the Florida area, we would love for you to join.
And you're going to have to send me the link to that so that I can put it up on our Facebook page, because unfortunately this podcast comes out afterwards, but I can post it on our Facebook. I know, right? But we'll definitely post it. And I remember Brandon had said he was talking about some kind of show, and he goes, we need to talk about this, and I didn't know what it was. So now actually, at least I know what it is. He mentioned it. He goes, "You guys we need to talk next week," and it was like last week, and everything's busy. So yes, I would love to be on. It would be nice to actually sit on the other side of the microphone for once.
I bet, yeah.
So, what have we not covered that we should cover?
I think that's everything.
That's all that matters to me. Is like I want to make sure we get everything down, and thank you for being on, Emma. And again, like Brandon, don't be a stranger. Come back anytime. And of course, I'm going to go on your show, and I really, really appreciate you being on. It's been a pleasure.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. It's been really great speaking with you. I always enjoy having a conversation with a fellow animal lover. So thank you.
And it has been fun. Well, I'm Chris Green. Have a pet-tastic week. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Okay, gotta go in my bedtime.